Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namah Shivaya. Sarvamangalamangale Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanyatrambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Om Bhagavate Shri Sahajananda Swami Maharajaya Namaha. Shri Aksharaya Namaha. Shri Parabrahmane Namaha. Shri Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Guru Stotram Akhandamangalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sarvamangalamangale Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanyatrambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Welcome to Daily Satsang. We are continuing our exploration of the general question about the Atma in relation to that verse that we have been looking at, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. That what is the Brahma Tattva? Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Along those lines, we have been examining what is Vasna. So to continue in that same track today, I want to go a bit further in the Vachanamrut, Garada number 11, Vachanamrut of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. He has beautifully explained what is Vasna. So we covered that in the last several recordings. And then there was a question about Ekantik Bhakta. So this word is very significant for us to keep in mind. The word Ekantik, just to review, it means single-pointed, one-pointed bhakti, single-pointed devotion. It actually is a combination of the four things, the dharma, gyan, vairagya, and then as a support for bhakti. We mentioned that many times before. So that is from the Vasudev Mahatmya scripture. So here the way this question is answered by Maharaj, this is in Gujarati, I'll translate it. So the question is like this: Tare Muktanand Swami puchuje, hey Maharaj, Bhagwan no ekantik bhakta kene kahiye? Who can be considered to be an ekantik bhakta? Why is this question being asked? See, Muktanand Swami was 30 years older than Maharaj at that time. He already knows all the answers to these questions. The reason he's asking for all of us. He's asking for the younger people who are present at that time. So it's like that. It's like even Arjuna and Krishna. Arjuna actually knows a lot of the answers to so many things. But that dialogue has been placed there by Vedvyas for the benefit of the humanity. It's like that. So this question is about Ekantik Bhakti. That Bhakti is so important in life because Bhakti is emotion. Bhakti is based on emotion that becomes divine, Divya Bhav, Divya Buddhi, Divya Bhakti. So how can that be, and what is the definition of that? And so there are many ways to answer this question, obviously. The way it is answered here, very beautifully, so Shriji Maharaj is Swaminarayan. That is Shriji Maharaj bola je, jene Bhagwan vina bichi koi vasna na hoy. We talked about this last time, that only one vasna comes together, only the desire for God remains, while one does everything. Now, that's one part of the answer. So today I want to talk about the second part of the answer. The second part of the answer is that ane potane brahmarup manine bhakti karto hoy. Te ekantik bhakta ke. What does it mean? He's saying that belief, it's a belief that you are Brahmarupa. What is that supposed to mean? If I say that I am Brahmarupa, it's as a belief, as a manyata, jisko manyata kehte hain. I don't know in Hindi if that's the right word or not. In Gujarati, it's like that. The word is manyata. It means your own personal belief. So, if I say that I believe I am the Brahman, so that belief is called Nishta in Sanskrit. Manyata is like, it's like a certain type of, the word belief is a good word. The word Nishta is even more than belief. It's a firm conviction. The word Nishta means conviction. So, here the word that is being used, let's go back to that again. The word that is being used here, कि पोताने ब्रह्मरूप मानीने भगवान की भक्ति करतो होय. It means that you believe that you are Brahma Rupa. What is that supposed to mean? This is very interesting. What do I believe that I am right now? I said, I'm Sachin. Somebody asked me, who are you? Okay, I'm Sachin. Okay, this is my mother, this is my father, this is my family, this is my occupation, this is my history, this is this, this is this, this is this. Okay. Is that who I am? So yes, relatively, at one level, at one stage, yes, that is true. In Vedanta, it is called Vyavarika level. Vyavarika means transactional level. And this is explained well. For reference purposes, I'm giving this, the videos of Shri Sarvapariyanandaji, who is a disciple in the Ramakrishna mission. He has explained this concept pretty well. There's many videos of his online. I'll explain it here also, that transactional means that in the relative world of names and forms, we have to live in the world of names and forms transactionally. Right now, Sachin is using words. Where do those words come from? Those words are representations of ideas, but the words are transactional. Okay, now here's another example. Sachin is born, the body is born on November 13, 1970. That's the birth date of this body. Name was given Sachin. All right. Who gave that name? My mother gave the name. So then what does my mind do? It identifies with the name. Sachin, Sachin, Sachin. That this body is such. It is so deeply ingrained that we are so identified that yes, this is Sachin, this is my caste, this is my thoughts, these are my beliefs, this is my skin color, this is this, this is this, this is this. So many things are there. That's just with the name only. Then we have a first name, then we have a middle name, then we have a last name, then we have, the whole chain of different other relatives, and it's a structure that is built up within the mind based on the transactions of the world, and that structure has to be there. If we don't have that structure, how can we survive? How can we live with each other? How can we identify anything? So then, this statement that is written here in Vachanamrut, that potane Brahmarup manine, that you are the Brahman. Oh, wait a minute. If I start walking around and telling people, I am the Brahman, I am Shiva, I am this, I am that, they will give me a nice ticket straight to the next psychiatric hospital. That's the next thing that would happen. They said, you have a delusion, you have a problem, you say you're the Brahman, you're God, you're Shiva, Tattvamasi. If I keep repeating that, and I start telling people about that, and if I start believing it in such a way that I even forget who I really am, that's a psychiatric problem. That's not what is talked about in these scriptures. I want to make that very clear. There is a diagnosis of schizophrenia, there's a diagnosis of delusional disorder, and many other such disorders, depersonalization, etc., where a person starts to believe that they're Jesus, that they're Krishna, they're Shiva, they're the Allah, they're the next coming of the Christ, and a lot of those people are in the psych hospitals. So that is not what is referred to here in the scriptures. But now one might say, how do you differentiate between the two? Every scripture tells us, believe you are the Brahman. Tattvamasi, you are the vast, you are the infinite, you are. Shankaracharya again and again is saying, Sajanand Swami is saying, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, who isn't saying? All the sages are saying. Were they psychiatrically ill people? Can we imagine there's such an idea that all of these people had some kind of delusional psychosis? There is actually a book called The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. I don't know if you've heard about that. This whole theory that all of this idea about the God and the Brahman and the Atma and all these things in the religion, this is all a delusion created by the masses, by the histories, by founders. That these people were all delusional people projecting things in the mind. This is some kind of an idea. Is that the truth? Even, who was it? I don't know if it was Freud, but it was somebody else. Maybe he said religion is the opiate of the masses. It's a drug. That's all. It's just like you take another drug, you take this drug. That's all. Isme kya farak? Somebody drinks alcohol, somebody takes marijuana, cocaine. Somebody's chanting mantras, singing bhajans, doing this, doing that. Oh, एक अलग प्रकार का drug है. Pentecostal tradition, speaking in tongues in the Christianity. They're dancing and they're doing different things and all that. वो भी एक drug है. This is a perspective of this kind. So I'll share with you my perspective on this. Okay? And then it's up to each person to decide and can probe it further, and I'd be happy to go into it further with anybody. So first of all, as I've mentioned before, has been mentioned before many times, our conditioning of the me, the I, the personality, the likes and dislikes and feelings we have for our family, none of those things are to be destroyed. If we destroy them, we will damage the mind, damage the brain. Somebody will wind up in the next closest psychiatric hospital, or like an inpatient facility for a whole lifetime. That is not what we're talking about. On the contrary, adhyatmic sadhana, spiritual practice, and the belief that I am the Brahman is an evolution of the me from the limited me. It's an expansion into a greater state of awareness without the destruction of the small me. The small mind, the conditioned me, the psychological me, it's not something to be destroyed, it is to be transformed. That is the fundamental truth about psycho-spiritual evolution. Okay, so I'll give you some examples, right? We'll talk about this for the next several days. This is a very relevant subject, and I wanted to talk about this for a long time in the past. I just never got around to it really. But now we can perhaps get into this. If I say I'm Sachin, yes, I have a sense this is Sachin, this is this body. Everything is there. It should be there. Leave it alone. But the difficulty comes when there is the problem of raga and dvesha. Sachin is not the problem. Even the conditioning is not the problem. We say we want to go beyond the conditioning. Okay, true. The conditioning has its own force. True. But that is necessary for further evolution. So the raga and dvesha is what? This is where there is blockage inside us, within the me, because of raga and dvesha. Hold on one second. Just 1 second, please. Okay, so this is very interesting. Sachin has name, family, has possessions, has education. All right. Beautiful. Now, let's say there's some degrees that I have. Okay, fine. My perspective of that education, if it is that, oh, I'm something bigger than others and I'm competitive, that is within Rajogun, maybe Tamogun, it is within the realm of Maya. Okay, that also is there. Somebody can proceed along that line. That's up to them. Keep expanding that, see what happens. But that will not open the door into the Atma. That type of mindset. So, if some degrees are there, as an example, if the broader understanding that this is knowledge that has come to me, and I am an instrument to serve the world, that is karma yoga. So the inner space is totally free of the burden of the ego. Isko bhar, in Gujarati, in Vachanamrut, this is, Maharaj has used the word bhar. He said, "Hu Brahma chu, eno pan bhar nati mare ma vairagya cheno bhar." Bhar means even if good qualities come inside of us, if somebody is doing karma yoga, let's say for example Sachin is really a true karma yogi, He's leaving everything at the feet of God, serving humanity, doing the best I can, not keeping attention, not getting entangled with the results. Karmanne vadikaraste. Let's say I'm living that. And 15 people start telling me, oh my God, this is kya karma yogi hai, kya bade wo hai. Yeah, and I start to hear those things and I say, yes, there must be some truth in that. I am a karma yogi. The I comes back. And when that happens, that is called bhar in Gujarati. That means that there is a weight. We are burdened by the ego behind the Sadgun. सदगुण पूर्ण परम विवेकी गुण को मान न आवे सोही जन संत कहावे. ये मुक्तानंद स्वामी जी का ही पद है. सदगुण पूर्ण परम विवेकी गुण को मान न आवे सोई जन संत कहावे. ऐसी अलौकिक बात है. One who has सद्गुण गुण, सद्गुण भी क्या है? What is that? That is where the divine qualities of compassion, grace, tolerance, patience, clarity, peaceful talking, non-violence, ये सब दिव्य गुण आते हैं. So the personality that is ego-driven, ego-based, that has been developed usually that way, it begins to transmute. It's not destroyed. It is transformed into the divine personality. Like Vivekanand Swami, for example. उनकी personality कैसी थी? How he developed himself, how he lived his life. इतने अद्भुत संत हो गए. ये जो मुक्तानंद स्वामी, ब्रह्मानंद स्वामी, स्वामीनारायण संप्रदाय में जो थे, they lived a life. There's a prasang, actually, there's an incident of Muktanand Swami. At the time of Maharaj, at that time, there was some opposition from about some of the social reforms he was trying to do at that time. And he did a lot of social reforms. There's a long history. We won't go into all that right now. But there was some, like 4 or 5, these are called babas. These are like, they're not really true sadhus. They're just like roaming babas and they're doing negative things and whatnot. So they actually came to Muktanand Swami and they were going to hit him. They were going to beat him. ऐसी situation थी in Gujarat at that time. But when they saw Muktanand Swami, just seeing him, their anger, their hatred, their negativity completely vanished and they bowed down at his feet. अब ये क्या है? इसी को ही दिव्य शक्ति कहते हैं. इसी को ही साधुता कहते हैं. इसी को ही जीवन का जो परम लक्ष्य जो है, कि ऐसा जो दिव्य जीवन बन जाए. Wow, that is tremendous. Muktanand Swami didn't say one word. Only his presence spoke. This is an incident in the Swaminarayan Sampradaya. This is 200 years back, more than that. And there are many such incidences of so many individuals who are enlightened. Enlightenment is what, after all? Enlightenment is not brain damage, it's not mind damage, it's not delusional disorder, it's not psychiatric disorders. It's not schizophrenia, schizoaffective. It's not psychosis, neurosis. No. It is, in fact, it has within it the highest level of physical and mental health. The mind becomes strong, powerful, healthy, wise, and very stable. So the identity, the functional identity, the Vaivarika identity remains without any problem. But one realizes by the grace of God and Satpurush, by grace of God and Guru. इसीलिए भगवान की जो भक्ति की जो बात है, we talked about that. It is so important because we do not know what that evolution is like from inside. It is grace-based. Krupa, Bhagwan Krupa sadhya hai. Bhagwan Kripa karte hai. Then the devotee is taken to that stage. So, in that evolution further, for that evolution to begin, in this Vachanamrut, Maharaj has stated, consider and believe that you are the Brahman. You are the Atma. Now, what does that mean exactly? What is that? That all sounds very good, that I'm the vast, I'm this, I'm that. So here's some practical ways of trying to unravel this. First of all, if I say that I am the Brahman, the vast, bring vastness into the mind. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Everybody is my family. ये एक मानसिक ओपनिंग है. इसमें कुछ पैसे की स्पेंड नहीं करनी चाहिए. Don't need to spend any money for that. Don't need to do anything for that. Except sit in the reality that we are in the parks, our car, in our home, with our family, with anybody. Say, everybody is mine. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. This is Vedanta. How to do this? This is the question, right? How do we actually develop the belief? He's saying here that પોતાને બ્રહ્મરૂપ માનીને ભગવાનની ભક્તિ કરતો હોય તે એકાંતિક ભક્ત કહેવાય. પોતાને બ્રહ્મરૂપ માનીને means that belief that I am the Brahman. But now I'm explaining here how that belief is developed and what that belief is. So it begins because the word Brahman or Brahma means vast, the infinite, the endless. So we begin with recognizing the limitations that we have within and recognizing those limitations and transforming them into the Vyavarika level and keeping them only there. So yes, I have a certain bank account, I have certain possessions that I own, certain things are there. So as a functional, Vyavarika meaning transactional. Yes, Sachin has a name, Sachin has a post office box, Sachin has computers, Sachin has these clothes, Sachin has these glasses, like these glasses I'm wearing right now. I'm not going to give these glasses to somebody. I will not be able to see anything properly. So, I have to protect myself, my body, my possessions, so that I can function in the world. But I also, so Vyavarika level, the development of the Vyavarika level without the interference of Vasana and the ego, the Aham Jivam Garanti, without the interference of that, keeps the Vyavarika level very clear. What I ought to do, what I should do, hyper indulgence stops, everything unnecessary stops in that. That is Vyavarika. Now with that functional aspect, one internally through Gyan, Bhakti, Vairagya, higher vision, internally brings within the vastness of creation. And that begins with feeling, bhavana. Ye ek bhavana hai na? Somebody we never met before we meet for the first time. Generally what happens? We say that, my name is such and such, what is you? We have a good conversation. But those who have an evolved vision, the first thing that awakened being sees is the presence of Bhagavan. And then the Vyavarika starts. So the presence of Bhagavan is there. Now the whole dynamic is going to be different. You can try this. This is an experimental phenomenon. Vedanta, Advait Vedanta, Vishishtadvait Vedanta, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. This is experimentation. It is not simply belief. How does one experiment? You can try it today. The next person you see, bring inside the mind the vision that that my Ishta Devata is there. Whoever the Ishta is, it could be Jesus, it could be Krishna, it could be Ramakrishna Paramahans, it could be Sajanand Swami, it could be Paramahans Yoganand, it could be whoever it is, Lord Shiva, anybody that you believe as God. When you see the next person you see, next animal you see, next tree you see, just bring the feeling that my Ishta Devata is there. And then, while maintaining that vision, continue the transactional activity and the magic happens. इसमें मैजिक होता है, बहुत अद्भुत मैजिक है इसमें. What is that magic? Now the interaction is without raga, dvesha, or any kind of me versus you. Even though the other person might be shouting at you, it's incredible. वो एक अद्भुत स्थिति है where you begin to see Paramatma as functional, and then Vyavaharika as functional. Arjun had to learn this. This is what the Gita is about. He had to change his vision from the attachments into doing his duty, and then into that Brahmic vision that Krishna is present everywhere. All these people are already gone. They're going to come and go. I'm going to do my duty. And maintain that higher vision, that antavinte ime deha nitya sukta sharira. Nobody comes and goes. People, they do come and go, bodies come and go, but the Jivatma doesn't come and go anywhere. Atma Tattva is eternal. So the change in the vision, Bhagavad Gita mein Arjun ji bolte hai, Sri Arjun speaks, Nashto moha smritir labdva Tvat prasadan maya chuta gatosmi gatasandeha karishye vachanam tava. This is in chapter 18. The last chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Arjun is saying to Sri Krishna, because of your teaching and everything you have given me here, and as your shishya, as your disciple, as your devotee, my moha is gone. What is moha? My wrong understanding, my delusional understanding, all the mixture that was the attachment structure and the ego and my raga and dvesha and all the stuff that I was stuck with, you have removed it. You removed the veil of ignorance from my eyes. See, that's what we say in the Guru Stotram, right? Chakshurum militam mena tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Ajnanatimirandhasya gnananjana shalakaya. Chakshurum militam mena tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Nashto moha. See this point. Nashto means is moha ka nash ho gaya hai. Which also means that all the vasanas have been transmuted into sadvasana. Nashto moha smritir labdva. Smritir labdva means I have regained my right understanding, smriti. Oh, remembrance of the truth. That's been obtained. Tvat prasadan maya chuta. By the grace. Prasad meaning it is the grace of God. Prasad ka meaning kya hai actually? That which we spread, the truth that is spread, iska prasaran hota hai. Prasad, we spread to others. Isn't it so? Mandir mein, even if there's a small amount, 10 people are there, we say, make sure everybody gets something. Have you ever seen anybody in a temple who will say, okay, I'm going to have that whole, you 8-9 people, you guys are not at my spiritual level, you stay there, you keep doing darshan, come back tomorrow, you'll get prasad tomorrow, not right now. It doesn't work. Have you ever heard like that? Even if there's one banana and 10 people are there, they will cut into 10 pieces and everybody will get something. Isi ko hi prasad hai. Prasad ki baat bahut adbhut hai. It's a very important thing in life. When we have anything good that we want to give to others, it should be shared with as many as possible. Isko hi prasad kehte hain. ये सब सत्संग है, भगवद गीता है, वचनामृत है, ये सब क्या है? भगवान का प्रसाद है. और हम जो आरती करते हैं, पूजन करते हैं, we put some fruits, we put some, this शीरा बनाते हैं, और जो भी प्रसाद बनाते हैं, we put some nuts and whatever we are offering. We know what Sri Krishna is saying in the Gita. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. You can offer me a leaf. You can offer me a fruit. You can offer me a flower. It is the internal love with which it is offered that is everything in spirituality, in bhakti. इसी को ही तो भक्ति कहते हैं ना. When we offer to God, and with the greater the realization, even if it is a murti, we say there's a murti of Paramatma. When we offer with the feeling that all of existence is in every pore of God, रोम रोम में अनंत ब्रह्मांड है, ऐसा जो भाव आ जाएगा तो मूर्ति में सब कुछ है. Even within some sadhu, we say, like people who believe in great saints, कि संत में सब कुछ है. who have great Shraddha. I won't go into all the names. There's so many of them. So many temples are there. So many things are there. Okay, that's another way too. There's so much beauty in this. इसमें इतना आनंद है, दिव्य आनंद है. और जिसको ये दिव्य आनंद का अनुभव हो गया, once you have tasted that nectar of that divinity, इसकी झलक भी हो जाएगी. Then you want more. Then you want to remain in that. And that is the beauty. That is the stage of those are all beginning stages. And then as that continues further, the solidified belief that vast reality, that is the Brahman and the Atma Tattva, that is actually who I am, even though the body is there. Body is there. It's my body. My t-shirts. But that body is not me. It is my body, no problem. These glasses are mine, right? I can see this. See, like every moment of every day, I know these glasses are mine. But I'm not these glasses. But they're mine. I'm not going to give these glasses to you. Somebody asked for them. I said, no, wait a minute. Don't take. I'll give you some money if you want, and you go buy your own glasses. You cannot take my glasses. That is Vevarika. That is a functional level. So the evolution of the mind is not the destruction of the mind. The evolution of the mind is the wisdom that is given to the mind to evolve beyond the distortions within the mind. इसको संकल्प विकल्प का जो distortion होता है, that is the distortion that stops. And there is lucidity, this word clarity, lucidity, जिसको ज्ञान, जिसको there are so many words like this that come. ज्ञान दृष्टि, जिसको ज्ञान हो गया, which means what after all? That means that that somebody's going to put a stamp on your forehead because you're a jnani, like, or somebody give you some printed certificate. No, it's not like that. It's a swaka anubhav hai. You don't need somebody else, or other people may detect, wow, there's something extraordinary in that person. Even if there is something extraordinary within us, which there is, the ego never gets hold of that. The devotee always gives the credit to God. If somebody says to Sachin, you are able to explain something well, or aapko mantra achhe bolte, or you're explaining some psychology thing. I said that I'm just if I'm actually in the connected proper state, I would say this is an instrument. That knowledge came from 15 or 20 other people, and that came from God ultimately. So Sachin is just हम एक निमित्त है, निमित्त मात्र. So अर्जुन को ही यही शिक्षा, यही बोध दिया था. You are just an instrument. You are a drop in this ocean. I am the one who's doing it. Who are you? You just be an instrument and you do what you need to do. That's all. And I'm handling everything. Aham sarvasva. Rudisannishta chapam. I'm everywhere and I'm in the heart of all. Bhagwan ki ye sab bani. He said like this. So, the belief that I am the Brahman, this is not a small thing. Isme, whatever Sachin has explained up to this point today, that is just the beginning stage to even get to that belief. What is the belief? Actually, इसको कहते हैं ब्रह्मनिष्ठा और आत्मनिष्ठा. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. What is meant by that brahmanishta itself? Then there is stage beyond that, जिसको कहते हैं आत्मसत्ता को, in Gujarati is आत्मसत्ता रूपे वर्त्यानु. I'll explain what that is. It's a more evolved idea, more evolved state. And then the third stage is Atma Sakshatkar. Right? So there's a whole link of this type. Brahmanishta, adbhut baat hai. If I say that I am the Brahman, Soham, I am Brahma, Atma, I am that great reality. Okay. I can say that. I can feel like some good energy in that. Okay, no problem. But that is just still that's just a rudimentary thing. There's so much background before that belief actually comes about. And it's not just some intellectual belief. The true Atmanishta, which we'll talk about tomorrow, I'll just mention one thing about it here. That such a intense conviction that I am the Atma develops psychologically. And because it develops psychologically, that means the mind and the brain itself develops tremendously. The connections within the brain begin to really sync together, and all of the energy wastage in the brain stops. And when that energy wastage stops, that same power becomes available for Brahmachintan. Brahmachintan कोई सामान्य बात नहीं, ब्रह्मचिंतन हो ही नहीं सकता otherwise. You will never be able to do the ब्रह्मचिंतन. ये शास्त्रों की सब बात है, संतों की सब बात. इसमें श्रद्धा होनी चाहिए, सबूरी. It requires patience, it requires faith, it requires the ability to sit carefully in every idea, to synthesize within, hold within, contemplate within, in the continued devotional practices that requires steady flow of conserved energy. It is not some hyper-activated state, It's not like that. These subjects are also all discussed in Vachanamrut. Everything is there. It's amazing. Bhagavad Gita mein bhi hai, sab shastra mein sab baat hai. And you'll see sometimes people get into these highly emotional states in bhakti. Isko rasik bhav kehte hain. But it's an emotional activity. You cannot remain there too long. You'll come down. And when you come down, the kind of attachment you had towards God, it will swing into the attachment towards the objects of the senses. It swings back and forth. इसीलिए भगवान स्वामीनारायण उनका मेन सिद्धांत है कि भक्ति करो, बट इस भाव में करो कि मैं ब्रह्म हूं, ब्रह्मभूतः प्रसन्नात्मा निजात्मानं ब्रह्मरूपम. In that Brahmic state, do bhakti. We are doing bhakti now to get to the Brahmic state. Okay, fine. But bring it together so that the bhakti is protected and your realization of the Brahman is protected. Otherwise, the bhakti will be chewed up by vasana. And if you don't have bhakti, just the sense that I am the Brahman, the ego will chew that one up. See the beautiful marriage between bhakti or gyan. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow. भगवान को प्रार्थना करते हैं कि all this wisdom comes to us. Whatever Sachin has spoken here is for Sachin only, and then others भगवान की जैसी इच्छा. See what happens in the future. भगवान की मर्जी. See, whenever we do this contemplation, it's like, when we are, even if we have a lot of people sitting together, you cannot eat for somebody else. You can serve somebody. Maybe you can put in their mouth even if their mouth is open. But you cannot chew the food for them. You certainly cannot swallow it for them. You cannot digest it for them. ऐसी सब बात है. So whenever we are doing satsang, it is for our own development. और भगवान की जैसी मर्जी. If these ideas are going to be helpful for some others, that is the divine will. That let it be. We don't know. We don't have to worry about that. We do our seva. Let things flow in the right way. Otherwise, that's the other thing that happens in spirituality. Sometimes people who are doing all these expositions or the katha and nirupan and scriptural things, eventually they get trapped somewhere. Oh, all these, I should be respected, and some people there should be 1,000 people should be on the website, and this should happen, and there should be a big organization and all that. There may be all those things. Fine, let it be there. But that cannot be the driving force. इसको aham vrittis में satsang, it's called man. There's a whole vachanamrut on that called man rupi haduku. I'll explain. It's very interesting. Some other time we'll talk about that. Many times even the spiritual activity is done because there's an ego current underneath to reach something in this material world. The material world is a dead end. Material world it has a certain amount of maximum experience. That's it. we'll talk about that also later. But that's an interesting subject. Why the material? What is the dead end in the material world? What does that mean actually? Iska kya meaning hai? I have to remember to make a note of that. I want to do like a series on that when we talk about Maya. Right? Okay. So let's stop here and then we'll continue tomorrow.